I
Hello, this is Greg Smalley with 366 Pod 366, a Weird Movies podcast, joined today by Pete Turbovich,
Penguin Pete.
Penguin Pete, and
And
Giles
Giles Edwards is
Edwards.
on his way back from the festival right now, right?
That is true, although I
Yeah.
think he's probably arrived by now because he retweeted something on Twitter. So,
Oh yeah, I see him pop in there.
so he gets home and immediately runs to Twitter and pops up, starts typing. But he'll be back next week. But we're going to go through a few releases this week, some news, and then spend most of our time on yet another film festival, Popcorn Frights, which is a newish film festival that, I guess, to pardon the near pun, just kind of popped up recently. It was founded in 2015. Haven't seen much of interest there previously, and then suddenly this year, it's just full of fascinating, weird little sounding.
Yeah. And being a horror freak, I am of course madly in love with this festival already. But yeah, I see a lot of returning classics. Just to get some classics out of the way, there's The Birds, Blood Feast, Hundreds of Beavers is not a classic, but it's a new one that just came out that Giles really loves.
A modern classic. Yeah.
There's a Kenneth Anger documentary. There's the movie Sorcerer by William Friedkin, was it? Is part of this. Friedkin just passed away, didn't he?
Yes, I think
Yes, the Exorcist director.
They might have grabbed that one really quickly.
Yeah.
But let's go through the other ones first, and then we'll spend a long time probably on that. Just because this lineup looks so good, and I want to get these out of the way so we don't run out of time at the end. So there are only two. There are nothing in theaters. Two releases on 4K UHD, and then a little bit of rumors of upcoming films. First one is Criterion has upgraded Akira Kurosawa's Dreams to 4K UHD. And once again, I think none of us have a 4K UHD player except maybe Giles. Dreams, of course, probably most famous for the scene in which Kurosawa recreates Vincent van Gogh paintings and has his protagonist walk through them and meet Van Gogh, who is painting on the scene and is played by Martin Scorsese. A very good art film from Kurosawa, so you know it's classic and quality. Pete, have you seen Dreams?
I'm familiar with Akira Kurosawa, but not Dream specifically now. But it's on my to watch list. It's very beautiful whenever I even just see a few shots of it, of course.
Yeah.
Kurosawa's camera work is legendary, of course.
Yeah, it's from the end of his life. It's not his last movie. It should have been his last movie, but it's close to his last movie.
What makes you say that? Should have been his last movie. What was his last movie?
I think he did one or two movies after that that were just kind of forgettable that nobody really ever talks about.
All right.
And this one people probably consider his real final work.
Yeah.
Another one, this you can't see the title here. This is from a selection of the contents that you will find inside the package. It is for the collector's edition of Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is also a 4K, exclusively from A24. The regular DVD comes from Lionsgate. It has a bunch of special features, but not everything that's on the Lionsgate Blu-ray, as I'm told. However, what it does have is all these extras, a poster, a fold-out map, and all these little knickknacks that are like documents, fake little documents from the movie, which are things like a receipt, some tax papers, a district court filing.
Yeah.
There's probably a laundry ticket in there somewhere, I would think. Some notes that might have been written down by the main character in the movie.
Yeah. In video game parlance, we call these feelies. You would get back in the 80s and 90s at least, video games were a much bigger deal. You'd buy them in a box, and they may come with things like just objects from the game, a little token of something, maybe a journal from one of the characters, a map of the fantasy territory where the game takes place, stuff like that. These are called feelies. So this is a box of feelies, and it's very immersive because it's the main character is a tax preparer. So there's like tax and legal documents in here, and there's handwritten notes, as you say.
Yeah. Well, actually, Jamie Lee Curtis was the tax professional, and Michelle was Michelle Yeoh.
Oh, wait. Okay, the main character is not a tax preparer, but Jamie Lee Curtis is. Right, okay, I got it. All right.
Did you see it, Pete?
Huh?
Did you see the movie?
No, I have not yet. No, I was wrong. I thought I saw it on Tubi, but it's not there yet.
No. It's too early.
Yeah, it's way too early.
Still,
Anyway.
Still basking in its Academy Award winner status. And this is a sort of a little problem we have at 366 Weird Movies. When a big popular movie comes out like this, nobody on our staff sees it except me, because it's too mainstream for Giles, too mainstream for you.
It is. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you didn't see it, so.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Okay. I just don't have time.
Robert
I
Hubbard.
really wish I did.
Yeah, you've got too many, little slashers to watch or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. I've got a huge queue. Like the other day, what was it? I saw something for the first time. Enter the Void. The Japanese one about the guy who dies, and it's got the Tibetan Book of the Dead in there and all that. Yeah, I just got that on Tubi the other day.
Finally
got around that yet. Yeah, and I like it. I dig it. I can dig the point of view cam, but after a while, I'm kind of I've kind of seen some of this before to know what the premise is like. So I'm not that huge a fan. Are you frozen?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Let's move on.
I'm just slow. So that was it for the new releases, and then I just have a couple of upcoming ones to talk about. Quentin Dupieux, who makes at least 2 movies a year, sometimes 3, has 2 movies coming out. This one is, oh my gosh, I forgot the name. I think it's Yannick. Yeah. This one is Yannick, and that's already debuted at Locarno Film Festival. And the premise is it's about a play, and within the play, one of the attendees, it's apparently not a very good play, called The Cuckold, and one of the audience members starts talking back to the screen, to the players as they're on stage, which which is a very big no-no, to make any noise while a play is going on. And apparently that takes up the entire run of this very short movie. Pete, do you know anything else about that? Or just
no?
I know the Variety reviewer liked it, which may not be a good sign because they didn't like the weirder ones Dupieux has done. And within that article reviewing this, I found a mention that Another debut film will be debuting next month at Venice, and that one is called Dali. Daali, exclamation point, and it is described simply as a satire about Salvador Dali. So, no idea.
Yep.
But every Dupieux movie is worth seeing.
You would say so.
I've never come, I like some of them better than others. I've never seen one that I watched that I would say, well, that was a waste of time.
Oh, okay.
And then finally,
yes,
another upcoming movie. It is a remake of the 1987, I believe, film Street Trash, which was has a cult following among many people. It's a movie about homeless people melting and exploding because they drank some rot gut, experimental rot gut, I guess, that makes them melt. And the melting effects were very popular, and it was a little strange. This one is going to be set in Cape Town, South Africa, and directed by the gentleman who directed Fried Berry. I forget, I think his name is Ryan Kruger. Fried Berry was a movie, South African movie, that was sort of a riff on Brother from Another Planet, where an alien possesses a guy. He can't talk, but he walks around interacting with various people. Sort of one of the twists in that was the guy that the alien possessed was a heroin and crack addict. And so the alien got to sample some heroin and crack on his adventures. So Street Trash will be remade, and he does promise there will be some new bizarre twists to it. And now, Pete, did you see the original Street Trash?
No, nope.
No on Street Trash. I think that would be a movie that would be up your alley, to be honest.
It would indeed. It probably would be. It's campy and horrifying. If it's funny and scary, I'm usually there. This really gives me Toxic Avenger vibes. Is it from the I'm drawing a blank on the.
It is not from Trauma, but the original may have been distributed by Trauma. It's very Trauma-esque or Trauma-like.
Yeah, very much so.
Not quite as, doesn't lean quite as hard into the comedy as Trauma often does, but all right. So those are all the new ones, and the rest of the time we can just talk about the Popcorn Frights slate, and I'm going to see if I'm capable of sharing the Popcorn Frights website, and you tell me if you see it coming up.
There it is, Popcorn Frights. And it starts August the 10th. So August the 10th. Today. Yeah, it already started today. And looks like it's going for 10 days.
Yeah, anybody in Miami Beach should buy tickets, or if you're not in Miami Beach, just buy a plane ticket to Miami Beach. You'll be there tomorrow and catch most of it.
Yeah, I believe you can catch virtual tickets too, can't you?
Yes, it does have. There's some things are on a virtual program, and since we're on the website, we could check that out and see what it says. Looks like they have sort of a limited number of movies on. It looks like there's actually quite a few.
Yeah.
So that's actually a great option.
Yeah, there you go.
That
way people can jump into this without missing it.
Yeah. So not all of them will be available, but I noticed Abruptio looks like it's available.
Abruptio was one that caught my attention. Those puppets look so creepy and otherworldly, and at the same time, it's an unusual story about a guy who got gets a bomb planted in his neck, and there's some kind of terrorist or robber or whatever on the phone with him telling him to go do stuff or they'll blow him up. I guess I haven't seen the movie again. I did see the trailer for it. And it's just the work they did with the puppets. It's live action puppetry, but it's really got a unique look. Plus, it's featuring Sig Haig as part of the voice cast, along with Robert Englund, Jordan Peele, and James Marsters. So Jordan Peele, of course, from Get Out fame. Sid Haig, of course. Oh, what's his name? That guy. Anyway, a lot of horror movies. And Sid Haig. And let's see here. Didn't he pass away recently? I thought Sid Haig passed away.
I think he might have.
Okay.
I hate to say definitively, though. I should know if Sid Haig passed away, because that would be something that would be all over my social media feeds for sure.
All right.
Yeah, no, Abruptio is one of the probably my two most anticipated movies from this festival, probably my most anticipated, and it's one I've been watching for about a year for news on, since I first heard about the project, because of all the elements you mentioned, the puppets and the rather impressive voice cast they got, and the very strange premise about a bomb implanted in people's necks, I believe, right?
Yeah.
It says it's nearly a decade in the making. That's probably why it seems like I've been following it so long, news of this one. But yeah, Abruptio is one that looks extremely promising. We mentioned among revivals, I think Blood Feast certainly is something that people should watch if they can. The Kenneth Anger tribute doesn't say what's going to play. However, if you go onto their page, they give a cast list, which includes Bobby Beausoleil, which makes me think that the movie is definitely going to be Lucifer Rising, and maybe some shorts to go along with that. So
yeah, Buscioli, was he the one that was in Charles Manson's? He was affiliated with Charles Manson, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Yes.
Yeah, there was another Manson's gang. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of that's kind of lost to history in modern day, but Manson's gang was quite plugged into the whole celebrity circuit. They were actually like there. Manson himself was even attempting to be a musician. Anyway, yeah, Kenneth Anger though, that's another standout.
There's also Nightbreed. Pete, did you see
Yeah.
Nightbreed by any chance?
Clive Barker. I'm familiar with Clive Barker's work, but I haven't seen that one in particular. I've seen The Birds. They have The Birds on the schedule.
Yes, The Birds is
I've seen that.
that's the classic to see, I think.
Yeah.
If you haven't
seen Kenneth Anger's work, of course.
I would catch Kenneth Anger, because Kenneth Anger on the big screen is rare. The Birds, of course, though, is like the big classic movie to see if that on a big screen. I've never seen it there.
Of course, we've seen The Birds many times before, but at least I can claim that one. There's a few on there I've seen. Let's see here. Like I say, Kenneth Anger, The Birds, Sorcerer, Blood Feast. Yes, Blood Feast. I'm sorry.
Blood Feast.
Herschel Gordon Lewis. I kind of watch Herschel Gordon Lewis movies the way you would ride a roller coaster. I'm just bracing myself for it, and then it's a challenge to see how long I can sit through it before I can finally pause it and just have to take a break. But
Blood Feast is my favorite of his, probably for camp value. Although recently we reviewed one that's a lesser known H.G. Lewis effort called Something Weird, which isn't Something Weird, and that may be a new favorite.
Okay, I'll have to check that. I've seen that around. I've seen that running around, but I didn't know it was Herschel Gordon Lewis.
Yeah, Something Weird is about a guy who developed psychic powers after being in an electrical accident, and since he's got psychic powers, what would be the next logical plot development? Well, of course, he's then blackmailed by a witch. So,
oh, I love it.
and goes to solve a serial killer case while taking LSD. So
Sure, as one does.
it is. It
The
is.
LSD might even help.
Sure. Doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, here's a big one. Bloody Bridget, Richard Elfman.
okay. Bloody Bridget. Sure. Let's go. Let's talk about Bloody Bridget.
Yes.
Elfman. Yes. There's a still of Bloody Bridget.
Ha ha ha. A blood-drenched vampiress with wild, crazy hair blowing out.
So Richard Elfman, very short movie from him, 80 minutes. For some reason, I don't know what the hell's going on. If I could talk to Richard Elfman, I'm going to, because he has been talking about making Forbidden Zone 2 for decades now. And instead, he just keeps making these other movies and never seems to have any movement on Forbidden Zone 2. So I don't know what is up with that, but I'm glad to have anything from Richard Elfman.
Hey, man, especially with Danny Elfman doing the soundtrack. And
Yes.
right there, you've got to see it. It doesn't matter what else. I have to see this one because Forbidden Zone is in my top 10 favorite weird movies.
Well, they say this movie is certifiably insane.
Insane, boy! It better be. It beber be with the Elfmans on board. I don't expect it to be another Forbidden Zone. I'm not going to go on insisting on that, but
it's going to be more of a horror movie structure. Haitian deity.
Giving me Blood Diner vibes.
Perhaps, yes. So there's that. If you're watching on YouTube, of course, you can see the still of the vampire-looking woman.
Vampire lady, yes. And it's apparently just a vampire thriller. But with of course music and camp to it too. But hey, the Elfman brothers, man, you gotta see it. Have Richard and Danny Elfman collaborated on anything else since Forbidden Zone, or have they done other movies?
Well, I don't know. I don't think Danny has done anything like appear before camera. He may have done some scores. I really don't know. A lot of the Elfman family works, lesser known Elfmans work on Richard's films. There are big Elfmans and little lesser Elfmans, and a lot of the lesser Elfmans show up in his other films.
Like the Big Lebowski. I'm the Big Elfman.
So before I'm going to let you pick some others, but I wanted to talk about this one, which is probably my second most anticipated feature, which is a movie called Psychosis. Now, did you read about this one, Pete?
I didn't quite have time to get around to this one. I was just checking it out. I can appreciate the cover art that resembles a Black Sabbath album. With a dark hooded figure in a graveyard, it looks like cemetery or just a junkyard. What is that?
It's got to be a cemetery.
They're just standing out somewhere in some ruins.
It's an Australian movie, black and white, and it's let's see how to explain it. It's an experimental movie. Let's see if we can see a little bit of the trailer. I've tried to play trailers before, and they have been very choppy at best. But let's see what happens. You tell me if it's sticking there, Pete, when you're watching it.
Seems to be moving okay so far. No audio.
Try to remember this.
Oh, there it is.
Try to remember. Your voice. A sense of paracusia. Did you hear that? The voices are louder today. The link between my internal senses and external perceptions is somewhat blurred. A green size has made me make perspective on things. They said you'd be weird.
Crying and screaming into the phone. This little fix they got themselves in sounded right up your alley.
I've been seeing this before.
Hmm.
That's why they need you.
Recognize this.
Hmm.
Suddenly color.
Huh.
Where the center of me is simply experiments. Monitor. Otherwise, to abuse someone's mind. This is the worst.
No one actually knows the guy is either dead or so scared.
Hmm.
Things else.
No, not a lot of the sounds coming through.
Nobody gives an adequate answer.
Anyway, yeah. So, Psychosis.
So could you see
Um,
that without it being too choppy?
Oh, I could see it fine, but the audio didn't really come through much.
Oh, that's a shame because the audio is kind of the main thing. It's
Oh,
so the
okay.
main character is a schizophrenic who hears voices. So there's a lot of overlapping, indistinct whispering voices in the background whenever he's on.
Ah, okay.
And so the whole movie's not like that. I hope if anybody's listening to this, they didn't just hear a bunch of silence and were able to
Mostly, it was pretty quiet. But it had little bits of sound getting through. So I don't know if that's Zoom or frame rates or
that
what.
might have been my microphone, and
Yeah.
my microphone wasn't set to pick up sounds coming from the computer. So I hope that wasn't too much of a waste, and people could at least.
Anyway, that was only a minute.
Yeah, it was.
Anyway, but yeah, it's about it says here that it's got this there's a guy who's hired by a couple of drug dealers to because they claim they were attacked by zombies. And according to the description.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I always like anything with a schizophrenic character, and I like the
sort of.
They had the voices coming in that you couldn't hear because I didn't have the volume handled. But
well, we're trying experiments here. That's why
yes.
We're on the cutting edge of video entertainment, right?
That's right. Yeah, we'll be the first to play trailers on a podcast if I can do it. But so anything else you had? I have two more, I think, that are of less interest to me, but could be interesting. Did anything else catch your eye there, Pete?
Brightwood is okay. Eldritch USA is a Lovecraft musical.
Okay, hold on. Eldritch USA. Okay,
I'm done talking about it right there. Actually, it's just a Lovecraft musical. You've got me right there. I've got to see this, but any Lovecraft musical, and especially Giles Edwards. I think he's probably narrated every Lovecraft story now on YouTube by now.
Huh.
So anyway, there's that one. Brightwood, however, this is the one that impresses me a little bit. It's another one of your ontological mysteries where a couple goes jogging innocently around a lake and just end up trapped at the lake by some kind of cross-dimensional anomaly where they're stuck, they can't escape. There's shadowy characters. There's all kinds of mind messing with your mind events happening, and they're losing their sanity. Here's the original twist on it, though. It's actually about this couple, a married couple, and they're kind of sort of working out things of their relationship, and it says it's kind of done through the filter of the framing of their relationship and how these people work together. So there aren't many movies that try to mix an ontological mystery with a crisis of marriage confidence, as it were, I guess you could say. So I haven't seen it yet, but I've been, from the previews and the descriptions I'm reading of it, and a few people have reviewed, and it seems interesting. I'm just saying that's an intriguing idea. It could go great places.
I will say that this still that we have here is just kind of beautiful because, but if you can't see it, to describe it a little, it's like a man standing on a miniature planet in front of sort of a giant moon. But the way it's constructed, it looks like an eyeball with these trees that are growing out of the planet, looking like veins running through the eyeball. It's just a really striking design. So that's a great looking still. And if somebody has that kind of visual imagination, I think that's promising.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I want to mention this one, Agatha.
Agatha, I saw that.
Agatha, it's another one that's years in the making. It's let's see if I can run the trailer for this, and if that will come across. Maybe you can even hear it.
Post-apocalyptic thriller with a lot of animation. If I'm hearing it. Yeah, it's not making any audio again. Are you hearing any again?
Okay. Well, mainly I was just running that to try to give you a visual sense of why I thought that this might be a
yeah, I looked at the trailer before. It does have a very unique look. It's got a blended animation and live action, but it's not really done like a rotoscope. It's got kind of a sepia tone to it. It looks like nothing else I've ever seen. So,
yeah,
and it's another post-apocalyptic thriller. Boy, are we stocked on those.
So online you can see, or watching on YouTube, you can see the look here. It's very murky looking too, I'd say. Very kind of dust on the lens kind of thing.
Yeah. So it kind of has a vaguely timeless quality. And it's about it says here, a professor suffering from terminal illness witnesses an incredible event involving his mysterious neighbor Agatha. Hoping to find a cure for his sickness, he agrees to follow her on a strange and perilous journey into a forgotten but not entirely deserted urban wasteland. So,
Indeed, the plot could be, just entirely conventional, and the only sort of weird element would be the visuals. I think that's probably a good bet. But there's that which may be worth checking out down the line, or if you happen to be in Miami Beach. The other one is Perpetrator that I thought I should mention.
Eye-catching.
Did you read about Perpetrator, Pete?
No, but the visual here, for those of you who can't describe it, it's a woman's face upside down with blood all over her mouth, and it looks like it's being viewed through a fly's eye because there's hundreds of refracted images of it.
Right, yeah. And mainly they just catch the refracted images, just catch the mouth itself. So, yes, this is the main reason is to mention this one is because it's going to definitely be weird. It's from Jennifer Reeder, who makes movies that are often compared to David Lynch, or David Lynch by way of John Hughes, because they tend to have high school age characters as the protagonists. Also compared sometimes to Donnie Darko. Her big sort of breakthrough skin movie was called Knives and Skin, and Giles reviewed it and hated it. He absolutely hated it. I watched it later and I didn't like it, but I didn't nearly just hate it as much as Giles did. And I'm not sure why. I just thought it was a little blah more than something that would generate anger. But she definitely has a weird tint to her, and I want to give it a chance. This one got some publicity because Alicia Silverstone appears in it as a sort of an older auntie now that she's aging, so everybody does. Suburban Auntie from Hell, they describe her as. It looks like it's mostly a vampire style movie, although it's going to be a little weirder than that.
Okay.
But that is something to look out for. Perpetrator from Jennifer Reeder is there. Anything else I should mention before we get out of the Popcorn Frights?
I think we've teased this one enough.
Yeah, we covered quite.
Considering it started today, we're talking about a few movies that have already played probably by now.
Yeah, but well, I mean, probably the opening night film will play. I mean, I don't know, but usually not many people are going to be able to get there to see it. If you have tickets, you bought them months ago. So these are mainly things that will be, hopefully picked up by distributors, and some of them already have distribution. For example, we can guarantee that Hundreds of Beavers will appear. It has been picked up by an international distributor, and plans for Blu-ray are already underway.
Yeah.
I would think most of these movies look good enough that they would be picked up. Abruptio has a lot of buzz already. That'll be picked up. Jennifer Reeder movie probably has already been picked up. I think Psychosis had buzz and will be picked up. So I don't think Richard Elfman will find a way to get his movie out for sure. So they'll all be coming out either later this year or probably early next year. So we're just previewing them, getting you news first of what's going to be upcoming on the horizon.
All right.
Which is what we do. And so we come to a conclusion.
Wow.
Any closing words, Pete?
Huh?
Any closing words?
Stay trippy. But also, it's just occurring to me, what do you think about this? Do you think that we are done with the post-apocalypse movies? It just seems like there's so many of them. It seems like that's the first story people reach for these days. Is it just me, or is there a lot of that coming out?
I don't think we're near done with them, because I think that in the very near future, post-apocalyptic movies will be contemporary dramas.
Well, aren't you a ray of sunshine? Yeah. I think a lot of that's kind of response to current headlines and news. There is one more movie called No More Time that's on the Popcorn Frights list, and it's literally about a plague, a global plague, and people going into hiding in the woods, and then it gets into creepy horror because the plague is making people do weird stuff. But it's a recent movie, and stands out for the fact that actors are wearing masks in the movie. So
yeah, I think that one
is ripped straight from the COVID-19 headlines. So
I think we
that's why it's on people's minds a lot.
But that one said, so we are out of time. We're going to say goodbye.
All right. Catch you next time, man. And everybody out there, stay weird.